Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Darsh Rao, and I'm from the Media Shala Club. Let me ask all of you a single question. Do you know what World Mental Health Day is and why is it celebrated? You see, the answer lies in the name itself. Mental health is an integral part of the essential step towards creating a healthier and more compassionate society. This day is celebrated in order to spread awareness about mental health in children, teenagers, and adults. So, our guest today is a seasoned mental health practitioner from the UK whose commitment to the field has not only transformed the lives of countless individuals but has contributed to the field in many ways. She is currently pursuing a second master's degree in counseling and psychotherapy at the University of Edinburgh. With our 2 years of experience, she has worked extensively with young adults facing a different type of diverse concerns. So, welcome, Ms. Jasnoor, and thank you for taking out time today. So, we
Thank you so much, Sash.
Yes. So we have prepared a few questions for you, and I hope this will make it a very interactive session. So let's begin with the first question. The first question is very interesting. It says, how do I support a friend who is struggling with their mental health?
All right. So there are multiple ways of doing that, right? Firstly, my first and foremost suggestion would be that before you reach out to your friend to help them, you also need to do a quick check-in with yourself in the sense how you are doing, how you are feeling. Because you can't give from an empty tank, right? So there's an important analogy that can be used here to remind us that we need to first also look after ourselves before we can reach out and help others. So
Yeah.
that would be if you are in a airplane, a lot of times there's an announcement that says that before, in case of an emergency, before putting on the oxygen mask for the person sitting next to you, put on your own oxygen mask first, right? So that you don't struggle while you're helping the other person. So that's going to be my first and foremost suggestion. After that, it's very important to maybe reach out to the person gently and ask, okay, what is it that I can help you with? How would you like to be supported? A lot of times you will get an answer from them. So these are some verbal ways of supporting your friends. Other non-verbal ways of supporting your friends could be just sitting with them in silence. Sometimes they just don't want to say anything. They just want company. They want somebody's comforting presence, right? So just sitting with them in silence, not saying anything, or maybe just nodding, maintaining eye contact, or through your body language, you can convey that you're there for them and you care for them, right?
Like you said right now, there are many ways to do this. So of course this will vary with different types of people. Maybe someone is an introvert, someone is an extrovert, so we will approach them in different ways to calm them down, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Yeah.
because help and support, the kind of support that they need will look different because all of us are unique. Our experiences and our challenges are also unique.
Yes. So now we have another question here. What should I do if I think I need professional help for my mental health?
All right. So if you think you need professional help for your mental health, maybe reaching out to somebody older than you who you trust and you feel comfortable, letting them know that this is how I'm feeling and I might need additional help. A lot of times we are scared to ask for help because we feel like if we're asking for help, that maybe it makes us weak. But there's no shame in asking for help, right? So that would be the first step. And once you reach out to somebody, maybe explaining them how you're feeling. If you aren't able to talk to them about it, maybe conveying the same through different mediums, maybe writing to them if you feel comfortable. First, understanding how you're feeling. What are some of the changes that you've noticed? Then also doing some research about who is it that you can reach out to. Because the mental health fraternity is so big, there are different people working at different levels. So understanding who can support you best in that situation.
Yeah. So now my third question is, how can I manage stress and anxiety better as a teenager? Because in this age, we have in the transition period. So how can we take in all the stress we have? We have a lot of anxiety coming. So how do I handle this?
Mhm. I think that's a very pertinent question.
Hmm.
And I would like to start by saying that we need to first understand what stress and anxiety is. We have a lot of misinformation surrounding stress and anxiety. We feel like these emotions are bad emotions, but we need to normalize that it is okay to feel stressed and anxious at times. Because as humans, we feel a range of emotions, and each emotion carries a certain signal or some important, useful information for you.
Hmm.
So, similarly, just like the traffic lights that you see, there are three different lights, right?
Yes.
So all the three different lights signify a certain message. Similarly, if we try to be curious, our emotions tell us something very important.
Hmm.
So stress and anxiety are not bad per se, and they're very natural, and each of us experience those. In a way, they try to protect us. A little bit of stress, a little bit of anxiety is good for us because it keeps us going, it keeps us motivated. And why we feel stressed or anxious is when we feel like there is some threat or danger. So our body tells us, oh, there could be a possible threat or possible danger. So we need to respond accordingly,
Hmm.
right? So first would be normalizing these feelings. That's the first thing. What are some other ways in which you can manage stress and anxiety would be, um, one would be deep breathing. Because when we feel stressed or anxious, we would have noticed there are some physical changes also that we might notice in our body. Now,
Hmm.
those physical changes could range from our heartbeat going very fast,
Hmm.
or maybe us sweating, or our breathing becomes a bit shallow.
Hmm.
So, first, we need to focus on our breathing, just taking deep breaths in through your nose and breathing out slowly and gradually through your mouth. So, breathing is important. Then we can also learn to ground ourselves. Now, grounding, one way of grounding ourselves could be coming back and focusing our attention on the present. So, we can do that by taking 5 steps, just paying attention to our immediate surrounding. One could be looking out for 5 things that you can see using our 5 senses. Then
Hmm.
maybe looking out for 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can smell, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste, maybe, right? Another way would be prioritizing. There
Hmm.
could be a lot of things that might come up. Our plate can be full. So maybe prioritizing and breaking it down into smaller tasks. If this is urgent, I'm going to pay attention to this. So I'm going to get done with this, then I'm going to move on to the next task,
Hmm.
right? And also asking for help. Maybe
Yeah.
you can reach out to your friends, you can reach out to your family members, whoever you feel comfortable with. We might not always feel too comfortable reaching out to our family, so friends are also there for our support.
Hmm. So I really like the way how you explained it through examples, and it is actually very fun talking with you. So I also have a very different type of a question here. How can I talk to my parents or guardians about my mental health concerns? We talked about professionals, we talked about with our friends, but how about our talking with our parents or guardians? Like, should we do this? And if we are doing this, then how should I do this?
Right. That's again a very interesting question, and let me say that it's also slightly tough,
Hmm.
right? So talking to our parents can be tricky at times because of the kind of misinformation surrounding mental health,
Hmm.
lack of awareness, because of which our parents might react a certain way. So maybe, but it's an important conversation to have. It's an important conversation. It's important to open a dialogue with our parents. So it can differ in terms of how you reach out to them. Maybe between both your parents, you feel maybe comfortable talking to your father, your mother. So deciding that, who would you feel more comfortable with, right? Then maybe before going and approaching them, just sitting with yourself and trying to just see what is it that I'm really struggling with,
Hmm.
right? And it's completely all right if you struggle with, say maybe mathematics or say any other subject. Do you ever feel any sort of shame reaching out to your parents? No. We feel comfortable reaching out to them. So similarly, it's the same thing. But yes, how our parents will respond to these things will also again decide how we reach out and how comfortable we feel. You can maybe write to them, and you can maybe prepare points so that you can help them become more aware in the process. Maybe they feel like mental health is not important. Maybe you
Hmm.
can give them examples by saying, see, mental health and physical health are both important. They are connected. If I'm not doing well mentally, it's going to start affecting my body also, and vice versa. So, giving them examples which will maybe create more awareness and help destigmatize mental health. Lastly, if you don't feel too comfortable talking to your parents, you can also reach out to other family members whom you trust and you feel comfortable talking to. Because talking to somebody about our inner feelings and the difficulties we might be experiencing is hard, right? So maybe choosing the person you want to talk to is very important.
Okay, so this is also similar to how, like, if we are talking with our friends, so we have
Hmm.
to make sure, like, what their personality is, what type of things they like, so we can talk to them in such a manner that they will be comfortable with this. Similar to the parents, we need to know if they're aware about it or not, because there are certain sections which are not aware, maybe they are. So, like, it does vary, right? It does vary among people.
Absolutely. It is not going to look the same for everybody. Like you said, you know your parents the best. So you're also would have a certain idea about how much they know or how are they going to respond to this, what kind of tone I need to use, what are some of the words that I should use so
Hmm.
that it's better received, the message.
Because this is actually very helpful for many people, because, like, generally teens face this problem. So, like, when they want to share something, it might not be related to their mental health, it may be related to anything, maybe they've done something wrong. So talking to this advice can help in many ways.
Hmm.
Yes, so let's go ahead with the next question. This says that, can you suggest one small but a daily habit for the mental health well-being?
I'm afraid there is no one habit per se, but um, few habits which are absolutely non-negotiable would be eating well, drinking water, sleeping well. When I say eating well, eating a balanced diet, drinking enough water. When it comes to sleep, paying attention not only to the quantity of sleep but also quality of sleep. How well are you sleeping? Is
Hmm.
your sleep disturbed at night? So these are some important things. Engaging in physical activity, exercise is again equally important. So these are absolutely non-negotiable. Other ways also could be maybe taking out time for yourself, me time, where you reflect, sit down with yourself, do a quick check-in about how your day went, how you're feeling physically, how what are some of the emotions that you're feeling. So these are some of the ways in which you can, check in and sustain your mental health.
Yeah, because sometimes you will think that daily habits, like, I'm not getting this habit, but, like, maybe if you follow it for some time, you will actually get the hang of it, and at one point of time you will soon be comfortable with it, and of course it will change the way you look at life as well. So, like, related to this, I would like to ask, like, okay, you told me some of the tips about, like, how we could follow things, but also there are many myths related to this. Like, just you said that there are certain people, there are certain sections where people think certain things about mental health. So there are many myths too. So can you give me a few examples and a few myths which are commonly thought of about?
Hmm. I think the most common myth would be that facing or living with mental health concerns is a sign of weakness.
Hmm.
It's not. If we fall sick physically, if we have fever, or if we have any other sort of physical illness, do we equate it with um, our weak? Do we call it our weakness, or do we equate it with weakness? Not right. So
Hmm.
similarly, mental health is not a weakness. It can happen to anybody, and anybody can have challenges, right? The other would be that seeking help is a sign of failure. Sometimes you have maybe saturated all your personal resources and you need additional help. So that's completely all right. You can reach out for help. That does not make you a failure. It's okay because we can interdepend on one another, right? Another one would be that mental health is an individual problem. It's not. Our surroundings also deeply affect our mental health. So, if whether or not our surroundings are conducive, will have a great impact on our mental health. So, these are some of the myths.
So, like these myths are also common, like in many different places. But how can you say that if these myths are followed by some people, then why do people still think that mental health, like the care for mental health, should be taken? Because many people still think that no, I know that mental health is bad for us, and there are myths regarding it which are fake. But still, I don't think I need help for that. So, why do you think people are so stubborn regarding this, especially teenagers?
Mhm. So, because maybe they don't know enough about where they can get this help,
Hmm.
where can they get credible support. So, we need to increase our awareness about the help that is available. And help can look very different for different people. Sometimes we just need a hug. Sometimes we just need somebody to attentively listen to us without any judgment, right? And there can be also cases where maybe in the past we've tried sharing something with someone, but maybe that person went and told, share it with another person. So that can discourage us from seeking help, right? So increasing our awareness around what kind of help is available and where that help is available and how that help can benefit me.
So, ma'am, like, thank you for talking like about all of these different questions. It has really helped me, and like all the viewers, all the audience, everyone will be able to help themselves in this. So, thank you for giving us all the advice, because it will not only help teenagers, it will help the adults. It will help the adults cope up with their children in a better manner. So, really, really, thank you for like answering all our questions. And this is a part of a conversation from Media Shala, MRIS. So thank you for being a part.
Thank you so much, Dash, for putting together all these important questions and opening dialogue and utilizing the space to break silence around mental health, right? Because this year's Mental Health Day theme is mental health is universal.
Hmm.
So I think you have really broached an important topic, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, ma'am, for being in this conversation with us. So we'll meet next time.
Yes. Have a nice day.
Thank you.